Thank you, Carlos. Good morning. Good morning. Woohoo! All right, this is going to be a great crowd. Not really. Come on. Hola, ¿qué tal todos? Hace 25 que no he hablado español. Entonces es difícil para mí. Voy a hacer en inglés. Okay, so here we go. I've called this quick 20-minute presentation, putting our customers and our distributors at the heart of everything we do. And Generali is in the middle of a transformation. Okay, so we're talking about a 184-year-old company that is finally reaching the 21st century. Now, it has gone through every recession, every war, famine, crises. The only thing left for it to do is to become customer-centric and digital. So, of course, this is an insurance conference, so I don't need to go into what is Generali, but we are one of the 50 largest companies in the world, 72 million clients, 77,000 employees. Not all of our companies are Generali branded, so those of you who may have spent some time in Germany will know HACEMOS Direct. It's a direct life insurance company. Generali, also a way for us to promote products online. And Europe Assistance also happens to be Generali. In terms of premiums, third largest, not far behind Allianz, 80 billion under management. Now, in May, we announced our new strategy at the Investor Day in London, and it was a subtle but very important shift in the strategy. Generali has until now been a product manufacturer. That was the core business. We were very good at building spectacular products. But now globally, we are recognizing that selling great products is simply not enough. Hence, the shift to putting our customers and our distributors at the heart of everything we do. So when I talk about this, I'm not talking about a small change. I'm talking about a massive cultural transformation within the organization. And to change the DNA, to change the culture of a company with 77,000 employees, this takes time. So we're talking about a journey, and we are at the beginning of this journey. Now, I do want to talk about the business we're in, because we're all in the insurance business here, and it is important for us to already get in a positive mindset. Because a lot of people say to me, oh, insurance, aburrido, it's so boring. But in fact, insurance is really one of the few businesses in the world where we are so emotionally connected to people. Our core business is about protecting, and God forbid, something happens, then assisting. That's what we do. However, when you talk to clients, clients don't feel like that's what we're in the business of doing. Clients feel huge frustration. They tell us, your language is full of jargon and small print. They don't know what's covered. You're too complicated and difficult to understand. You're slow, inflexible, cold and distant, and you don't take my needs into account. I read so much customer feedback. People feel either tricked or they feel abandoned. These are not good feelings when we feel tricked or abandoned. So this is what we need to change. And this is the recognition we have after 184 years at Generali that we've got to cut through this and make huge changes. I'm not going to go through this because I know time is limited. But the reason we have such a huge churn rate is because of all the things we saw. Customers are fed up, they're slamming the door, and they're going elsewhere. So we're seeing 20 to 25% churn in our industry. When you say that to people outside of insurance, they're shocked. They say, how do you stay in business if you lose 20% of your clients every year? So for us at Generali, this is the first order of business, is to stop the leakage and to hang on to the clients we work so hard to get. And in our case, we've got 72 million across 60 countries. Because it's expensive. All that marketing that we do, all the money that we spend to go out and promote ourselves, all the commissions we pay up front to bring the business in, and then it just leaves. And we've got to go back out and find another 20% every January 2nd. Not sustainable, especially if you're like Generali, an old Europe player. Our three primary markets are Italy, Germany, and France. Spain is in the top 4. So Austria, Switzerland, these are where we play. So there are not millions of people waiting for Generali to arrive. So we need to really work on hanging on to those clients. Now, I love this quote, and I don't know if Bill Gates at Microsoft had a lot of unhappy clients. Maybe if I stand here, it'll be less. I think it's the photographer making all that racket. Your most unhappy clients are your greatest source of learning. And I think this is what we need to be inspired by. So for us, we have started a big movement to begin to systematically listen to our customers. But that's not enough. We need to listen and we need to act. The acting is the most important. And I think too few insurance companies are really going down this path. If there's a problem, we've got to fix it. That's what customers are asking us to do. So here's the movement we've started. We started with 3 countries, France, Spain, and France, Switzerland, and Spain. So Santiago, we always start with the CEO. Santiago was one of my first 3 CEOs putting his hand up saying, absolutely, we want to go on this movement. And this movement has taken off. So we are now live in 13 countries, listening systematically. This is all real time. We work with a software company based in Silicon Valley. At every touch point, we send surveys to understand what clients think. By year end, we'll be at 21 units, so it's 70% of our customer base around the world. So here's where we are. So far, close to 600,000 surveys have gone out. We've got 113,000 people have responded. 83,000 have given us comments. When people are angry, they really write what they're angry about. So we are seeing in the open fields massive text about what they are upset about. And this is the number I am most pleased with. 21,000 calls back. This is what we don't do in insurance. In insurance, we wait for the phone to ring. We rarely make proactive outbound customers, and certainly not immediately within 24 hours when they're giving us a complaint. So this is huge change that's happening across Generali. All these calls that are happening. This is the cultural change. Now, people say, oh, nobody wants to write to insurance or fill out a survey. We've got between 10 and 41% response rate. This is staggering. Those of you who've done some marketing know if you send out a survey, you're delighted if you get 1%. We've got between 10 and 41%. So consumers really want to have a conversation with us. And these are all the touch points we're looking at. So I'm not going to go into the details, but we're also listening to our agents. This is very important. We're working on parallel tracks. Customers, but also the distributors. They are the lifeblood of this company. So we need to understand the relationship that we have with them, and we need to understand what's working well and what can be improved. So now I'd like to show you a little video. This is our 3 pilot CEOs calling back detractor clients.
tardes, mi nombre es Santiago Villa y le llamo en nombre de Generali Seguros.
Generali Versicherungen, Fred Lloyd.
Oui, bonjour madame. Stéphane Dédéian à l'appareil Generali.
Y le llamo en relación a la respuesta al cuestionario de satisfacción que le hemos mandado estos días.
Grüß Herr Pavelka. Habt ihr schnell ein paar Minuten Zeit, für mit mir zu reden? Es ist natürlich für uns wichtig zu verstehen, es ist da.
Je vous appelle parce que vous avez rempli il y a quelques jours un questionnaire qu'on vous a envoyé à propos de votre sinistre auto. Et donc je voulais vous dire que d'abord vous remercier d'avoir fait un commentaire précis. Et du coup j'en profitais pour savoir si vous auriez quelques temps à m'accorder pour que peut-être on rentre un peu plus que vous puissiez nous donner plus de précision, parce que je vois que vous avez été manifestement très insatisfaite.
Hemos comprobado la encuesta que no ha estado satisfecho usted con la prestación del servicio y con nada. Entonces, en el motivo...
un mes. Vale, pues ya te digo que ha sido eso. O sea, es que ha sido un cachondeo. Vino uno que si estaba operado, que ahora venía otro, que vino con el cristal transparente, que no era transparente, que era blanco, que su compañero no se lo había dejado. O sea, un cachondeo.
Sí, comprendo.
Un mes.
Comprendo el problema.
Nicht gut gelaufen. Was mich interessiert, ihr seid irritiert gewesen durch das Verhalten von unseren Callcenter-Mitarbeiterinnen. Sie ist unsicher gewesen. Tue ich das richtig interpretieren?
Also irritiert ist jetzt vielleicht ein bisschen ein grosses Wort. Aber es hat mich auch ein bisschen überrascht, weil ich gebeten habe, dass wir die versicherte Orthopädie anpassen. Und dann hat sie mal meinem gestutzt und hat gesagt, sie will schauen, was sie machen kann. Und ich habe dann gefunden, ja, wenn der Versicherungsnehmer den Wohnsitz wechselt, dann ist ja das irgendwie...
Das begreife ich, insbesondere wenn ich jetzt gehört habe, dass ihr selber für eine Versicherung tätig seid. Also ich kann euch sagen, mittlerweile ist die Mutation gemacht worden und hat alles seine Richtigkeit bei uns im System.
Ich habe eben auch nicht gewusst, ob ich jetzt noch...
Problème chez Generali. Maintenant, j'ai passé énormément de temps. Ce sinistre m'a coûté beaucoup d'argent alors que je ne les ai pas encore. J'ai eu des mauvaises indications, on m'a raconté n'importe quoi. J'ai eu un mal fou à se faire rembourser, ça a mis un temps dingue. Quand j'ai téléphoné plusieurs fois à la maison mère, j'avais jamais les mêmes renseignements.
Lo que quiero hacerle conocer es que es muy importante la valoración que nos ha dado, porque para nosotros nos será de gran ayuda para poder mejorar el servicio en el futuro que le damos o a usted o al resto de los clientes.
Efectivamente, entonces pues ya te digo, ha sido un cúmulo de circunstancias y estamos muy disgustados. De hecho, pues bueno, a lo mejor no estoy mirando en cambiarme, porque la verdad es que tengo poco siniestro, pero si los que tengo voy a estar así, pues tú me dirás.
Pues eso le quería decir, que el objeto principal de la llamada, además de pedirle disculpas en nombre de la compañía, es que nos es de gran utilidad para que, sabiendo qué es lo que le ha pasado y el porqué de lo que ha pasado, pues ayudarnos a mejorar.
Und noch einmal herzlichen Dank für die Rückmeldung und ich hoffe, dass wir euch weiterhin zu unseren Kunden zählen können. Ja, freut mich. Danke vielmals.
Je voulais vraiment vous présenter nos excuses parce que là, manifestement, on n'a pas été à la hauteur du service que vous attendiez. Si je pouvais avoir ne serait-ce qu'une mini chance de vous garder comme client et de pouvoir vous démontrer dans les mois qui viennent que les choses peuvent changer, j'aimerais bien la tenter.
Faites-moi une proposition commerciale pour essayer de me conserver, et puis j'aviserai avec mon mari.
Très bien. Et ben écoutez, on va voir ce qu'on peut faire.
Okay. So this is 3 of 21,000 calls that are happening. And every day more and more calls happen. And customers love these calls because they're so surprised. No insurance company ever called them before to try to fix the problem. So this is one of the things we're doing. But also now we need to go beyond, and we need to fix the structural issues. So what are the real root causes of these issues? Why do we have issues with our third-party vendors? Why is somebody on the phone saying, we'll see if we can change your address? Why is the claims communication not better? So these are the things now, and I'm not going to bore you with it. Maybe during the panel we can talk about all the little things that are happening at Generali to fix these issues.
1 million d'euros. 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 1
The second, so this is why we are doing all this. You know, my boss is really happy that we're starting a cultural change movement, but what he would be happier about is the economic value of retention. And what we have seen in other firms where I was in the past, we've done the financial linkages and we will do the same at Generali, is that customers who are delighted, they do stay longer, they do buy more, they're much less price sensitive, they're less likely to shop around, and they refer. So it's that positive word of mouth that we are trying to amplify. And by default, we're also trying to minimize the negative word of mouth. And what some of the data scientists and our strategy team have come up with so far is just by hanging on to 1% of our customers, just 1%, it leads to 30 million euros in operating profits. So imagine if we're losing 20%, if we could just hang on to that 20%, what that would do to our bottom line. So this is the reason we are focused on this as a firm and why it's one of the big movements. So retention is key, but we also need to build a brand that's attractive to customers we don't yet have. So this is the second big movement at Generali. We have repositioned the company to simpler and smarter. This is clearly an aspirational positioning because we are a traditional insurance company and things are complex. But this is an alignment like I've never seen in any other company. So it starts with the CEO and it goes down, cascade after cascade. Our top 200 meeting will be in Vienna in 2 weeks. The topic is the journey to simpler, smarter. Our remuneration is going to be around this topic. 40% of our top 200 will be paid on what we're doing to drive this. So this is why I have hope that I finally work for a brand that is serious about the change. Now, this is not about advertising. You know, a lot of people, when they saw me arrive, said, oh, great, where's the global ad campaign? If we go out and we promote to the world, oh, come to Generali, we're simpler, smarter, and they come and it's not, we've lost. So when we talk about the brand, we're talking about every little thing that everybody in the company does to make the overall experience simpler, smarter. It's not easy work. It's hard work, but it's worthwhile work because this is really what we need to do as an insurance company. So what does it mean? It means putting ourselves in the shoes of our clients. It means before they buy, can they find us easily online? What content do they see? Is the content engaging? Is it about them? Can they find an agent? A lot of the websites, I mean, somebody yesterday, I was at a big conference, somebody said, I couldn't find my agent. Wasn't at Generali, it was another company. But I went on the website, I couldn't find the phone number. So can we register people's needs any way the customer wants? These are really fundamental questions that seem so basic, but it is back to basics if we want to be simpler, smarter. When people are buying, is the language on one page, and can they understand the language? I mean, we're a retail brand. We deal with non-technical insurance people, and we have to remember that we're dealing with teachers, firefighters, normal people. How many signatures do we need? Can they pay any way they want, or do we insist on a particular payment that we would like? Is there a welcome call? I mean, these are really basic. This is what we've got to get to. And then the same thing when they're using the product, but also when the agents are using the product. What is happening? So this is, when we talk about becoming simpler, smarter, we're talking at every single little touch point This is nothing really sexy, but this is the work we need to do to get to where we need to go. And our beloved agents. This is the lifeline of our company. Without them, we would not be where we are. So the agents are in the branches. We don't want to change that. But we want to do branch plus. We want to open the visibility of our agents and also the commercial reach that they have. So this means making these agents a bit more contemporary and giving them a visible presence on the websites, on mobile, having them start to listen socially to what's going on when customers are having children, are moving, are changing jobs. There's got to be a way for them to participate in those conversations online. This is the third big movement that we are pushing through. And again, Spain, Santiago and Juan Luis are my two key guys because they really believe in this. Not for every agent. Of course, we're not going to make every agent a digital native. But there is a big community where this makes sense. So this is one of my final messages. It used to be that the brand was all about what we said, pushing out messages. And so there we had the strategy, and then we had all the functions, and marketing was the only one that was worried about the brand. That is 1950s marketing. The world has moved on. And we all need to recognize that the brand is not sitting just in marketing. The brand is what we each do. So this is where I think Generali is getting it, is that we need to permeate the brand in every single function. We need to get out of our silos, and we need to work together, because the customer is not just what marketing does. HR, underwriters, distributors, operations, finance, we all have a role in the customer experience and in delighting our clients. So this is a movement. I work very closely with HR. Again, this is the first company in my 30 years where I have a head of HR who's a true partner. It's the first company in 30 years where I have a head of IT who's a complete partner. So there is a cross-functional alignment that is going to allow us to drive the transformation. And that's how we're going to differentiate. Thank you very much.